Hello, and welcome to the Chevron Business Analysis presented by Yuli, Rebekha, Leslie, Imesh, and Ashley from the TWU Fall 2019 Capstone course. This presentation will be a synopsis of our entire project that was presented in our paper. This is Rebekha Samuels, and what we'll cover today as a group throughout this presentation is our executive summary of Chevron, highlights of its marketing analysis, highlights of our organizational management. We'll dive deep into operational management, sales and marketing, and we'll end and spend the bulk of this presentation covering our 3 strategic recommendations for Chevron and their aspired growth. So Chevron Corporation was established in 1879. They're specifically categorized in petroleum refining and also crude petroleum extraction. So what's great about Chevron is they are pretty much a stalwart in their industry. When you think about their Porter's 5, everything is pretty low except for competition and rivalry that's really high. It's a really competitive marketplace. They're competing with companies like Exxon, Shell Corporation, but when we think about, substitutions, entries, anything like that, it's really low because they've established themselves. They're definitely a powerhouse in their industry. They're known for their technological advances, lots of development in their product lines. They've got hundreds of thousands of people and hundreds of locations in dozens of countries around the world. So they have established themselves, but what we see some of their weaknesses as, or some of their threats, is they have a lack of diversity. They have definitely an opportunity to increase their sustainability. And then the third and final strategic recommendation that we'll cover today is their diversification of their product lines.
Of marketing analysis. We start with the SWOT. First, we'll talk about the internal environment, the strength and weaknesses. Strength, strong market base in the world, pioneering product innovations, a well-established and popular brand name. Weaknesses, lack of cultural diversity, poor demand forecasting, and lack of representation and experience in different work cultures. Now let's talk about the external environment, opportunities and threats. Opportunities, growth of internet and social media, recent economic upstick, expansion of online channels. And the threats, the political uncertainties, ever-changing global regulations, and changing consumer buying behavior. Now let's talk about the Porter's 5 force. The first is the threat of entry is low, since setting up refineries can be categorized as massive capital investments. Second is the buyer power. It is very low. These include refineries, national oil companies, international oil and gas companies, distribution companies, traders, and countries where they have no or very little say about the pricing. Next is the supplier power. It is high. IOCs and NOCs all are integrated into within the whole value chain of oil and gas sector. Substitute competition. It is very low since there aren't many substitutes to compensate oil and gas when it comes to energy. Industry rivalry. It is high since there are only few major oil corporations in the world and they manage the oil industry leads to intense competition. Competitive advantage. Operating expertise. The company's operational expertise allow it to successfully navigate during 2014-16, one of the worst oil bear markets on record. And successful cost-cutting efforts from 2004 and 2010, production cost has down from $18 billion to $5 billion. Enormous visibility, activity over 180 countries, and have over 20,000 retail outlets over 84 countries. About competition. Next 3 slides will show how Chevron competed their direct competitors Exxon and Phillips 66.
Like many of its global competitors, Chevron is a highly hierarchical organization. It is mechanistic. It definitely has heavy control of its process, definite and clearly defined chain of command. It has dozens of business units that have very structured roles, accountability. They even do some product differentiation with leadership and responsibility. So they definitely show coordination, collaboration, and even product-based multi-divisional structure. So something to note that even though Chevron has diversity programs, diversity initiatives, employee programs, volunteer and support efforts going in multiple different genres of marginalized or special needs group. When it comes to their highest level executive officers, their board of directors, little diversity and inclusion can be shown. And this can have a negative impact on their growth effort. If you look at their board of directors, there's only 4 women present, 2 of them being people of color. The majority of their board is middle aged Caucasian males. Again, looking at their corporate officers, there's only 2 women in their corporate officer roles. One of them is a person of color, no male person of color perspective or influence, and again, mostly older, middle-aged Caucasian males. So we see a lack of diversity, a lack of inclusion that is going to affect their bottom line, whether it's not getting the exclusive talent that they want, not getting the projects perspective that they can have, and really hitting the growth that they want to see happen.
Chevron's operational management focuses on 6 core components: power, which are their gas, field, and renewable power resources; exploration and production, which refers to the exploration of the environments they drill in; refining, which refers to the converting of their natural resources into fuel and other products. Then we have products and services, which are the gas stations they currently serve all customers around the world with brands such as Chevron, Texaco, and Caltex; transportation, which provide the transportation to the products and the resources that they use to make those products; and supply and trading, which in turn talks about the commercial support to crude oil and natural resource production operations. Each of these components helps them to efficiently use energy while preserving natural resources and lowering energy costs and decreasing the footprint on Earth by decreasing carbon emissions. These components also serve to maintain their major business strategies, such as their upstream, downstream, and midstream operations. These in turn encompasses Chevron's operational management.
Highlights of sales and marketing for Chevron are the opportunities to bring energy solutions to markets around the world. Who will Chevron hire? They hire commercial analysts, associate sales and engineers, sales and marketing specialists. What will Chevron do? Chevron sales and marketing will achieve a short sales cycle as well as improve profitability and ratio in customer satisfaction, delivering enterprise results on a global level, developing leading edge capabilities. What else will Chevron do? Energy solutions market around the globe by advertising, marketing, selling, and developing products and services under 3 worlds: class brands Chevron, Texaco, and Caltex. Managing our convenience retailing operation, representing downstream operation and collaborations with the global lubricants, global refinancing, and global supply and trading units.
Diversification. Why diversification as a strategy? It will help to overcome threats from direct and indirect competitors. It will help to mitigate risk in the event of industry downturn locally or worldwide. It will help to be more profitable as a company. Diversification to Chevron. Let's do a Porter's 3 essential test. The first is the attractiveness test. The diversification must be directed towards attractive industries. The second is the cost of entry test. The cost of entry will not capitalize on all future profits. The third is the better off test. Either the new unit must gain competitive advantage from its link with the company or vice versa. The cost of entry test will be passed here when we follow the concentric diversification, since we are expanding into already acquired territory from the products or services standpoint. How to achieve concentric diversification? Grow organically or buy other firms. Internal diversification, expanding the existing product to the other markets within home country or go beyond the country boundaries to touch markets situated internationally. The best option is to touch South Asia, especially India, where the number of gas stations has increased over 45% in the past 6 years. Also, with the current population close to 1.4 billion and a growth rate of 1.1% per year, India will be a great prospect from a business standpoint for the next 5 to 10 years. External diversification. Chevron can achieve it via either mergers or acquisitions. But when we consider the size of Chevron, it is more feasible to make acquisitions than mergers. Usually, mergers happen between two or more companies which are similar in size to form one company under one name. Chevron can look locally and internationally to acquire other retail service centers which are independently owned or run under another brand name where they can convert those into Chevron.
In order for Chevron to be successful and maintain a competitive advantage, they must be able to develop a sustainability strategy. This strategy must focus on their primary source of evolution, which is their use of natural resources. In doing this, they have to protect these resources to be able to move forward into the future. By reducing greenhouse emissions, specifically CO2 emissions, they can protect the resources they so use. Improving energy efficiency, reducing flaring and venting, and fixing methane leaks as they occur will all help this strategy. Additionally, they must use low carbon versions of fuel, such as gasoline, diesel fuel, and increased use of biofuels. Also, with their new acquisitions, they have an advantage, specifically the Pasadena refinery system, to be able to train their staff in order to prevent events like the events that happened in prior years of negligence and unsafety conditions. All of these strategies and points will help Chevron maintain their sustainability strategy and be able to move into the future with full confidence of being able to be profitable.
Our third and final strategy recommendation is an expanded focus on the diversity of the leaders and employees of Chevron. There have been numerous studies proving that culturally and generationally diverse teams provide an expanded range of talent among employees. Because of this depth in cultural backgrounds, a business is more sensitive to the needs of a broader range of the overall population of their customers. Diversity can enhance relationships with clients, resulting in a more effective, successful, and profitable organization. The current culture of diversity at Chevron is covered in the Chevron Way, which outlines their mission, vision, and values. Lee Jordan currently serves as the company's Chief Diversity Officer to increase awareness and expansion of the diversity efforts of Chevron looking into the future. Currently, there is diversity and inclusion training for all employees, and the leaders do have annual performance metrics related to diversity and inclusion also. They have added benefits for transgender and same-sex partners over the past few years and have been nationally recognized for their advancements with LGBTQ team members surrounding inclusion within the workplace for the past decade. While Chevron has made significant efforts over the past several years to become a more diverse and inclusive organization, there is still significant growth needed in this area. The current board of directors has 11 total members. 9 of these members are Caucasian, with 7 men and 4 women. Of the 16 corporate officers, 14 of these are Caucasian and only 2 are women. Generationally, all of these members from both groups are middle-aged, around 40 to 60 years old. Our strategy recommendation is to develop a mentoring program for employees to develop talent among team members from diverse backgrounds. By cross-training employees from a variety of generations and culturally diverse backgrounds, the talent development and depth of their leadership would be greatly enhanced, resulting in improved business outcomes. We believe these 3 strategy recommendations will propel Chevron into the future so they remain relevant within their industry. Thank you for joining us for this presentation today.